Hello and welcome back. It's the 17th of April, 2026, and just 48 hours ago, NASA's Deep Space Network recorded an astonishing event, a discovery from three objects in space that have a 0.00001% chance of naturally occurring. We're talking about a sustained, coherent emission of cold, light, and bioluminescence. Now, why is this significant? Because this exact optical signature mirrors what we see from deep-sea creatures at the very bottom of Earth's oceans, and now it's coming from a supposed comet located about 240 million kilometers away. Imagine this. Picture an icy rock speeding through the vast emptiness of space, suddenly lighting up the dark void with a rhythmic, pulsating blue-green glow. This is not your typical comet behavior, and certainly not something you'd expect from an object that's supposed to be frozen and lifeless. The physics here get fascinating because comets do not produce light on their own. They reflect sunlight, yes, but they don't generate their own internal cold-state luminosity. Yet, as I speak, we are watching this very phenomenon unfold through telescopes. This defies the very astrophysical models we've relied on for centuries. Think about that for a moment. If this optical data holds true, and three independent observatories confirm it, then we are no longer observing just a rogue comet. We are witnessing something far more complex, something that suggests a biological or even artificial engineering behind it. For over 400 years of modern astronomy, we have cataloged countless lifeless rocks, burning stars, and frozen ice balls. We've come to expect a universe that's harsh, violent, and largely lifeless on a macroscopic scale. But this data challenges that assumption completely. The James Webb Space Telescope's CAM instrument didn't just pick up a random burst of thermal energy. It detected a precise wavelength, 470 nanometers, the exact frequency emitted by the luciferin molecule when it reacts with oxygen in deep-sea environments. Pause for a moment and think about this. We're seeing what looks like the spectral signature of an oceanic biological process happening in the freezing void of space. And even the lead astrophysics team at the European Space Agency, experts who have spent their careers modeling cometary activity, are saying that this optical behavior has absolutely no precedent. When a scientific institution at that level classifies their secondary telemetry data, it tells us one thing: we need to pay attention. The data here is clear. An emission of 33 billion photons per second is pulsing at mathematically precise intervals. This shouldn't exist. This is something we've never seen in all my years of studying theoretical physics and cosmology. Typically, we expect explanations like outgassing or mineral reflection, but the current evidence is pointing us towards something far more profound. What if our models are incomplete? What if 3I Atlas isn't a comet at all? The clock is ticking. The optical signal is growing brighter by the hour, and what we're witnessing is a cosmic impossibility unfolding in real time. But what comes next is even more shocking. Stay with me, because we're just getting started. Let's dive deeper into the mysteries of 3I Atlas. On the 27th of August 2024, this object was initially classified as a standard interstellar comet, similar to others like Oumuamua or Borisov. It seemed like just another icy rock with high velocity, and at first it appeared to behave like a typical comet. However, there was one anomaly. This object's pristine icy coma refused to sublimate at the expected rate, which already made it a statistical anomaly, a 1-inch 4.7 billion object. That was anomaly number 1. Then, on the 14th of April 2026, anomaly number 2 appeared. The optical emissions began. NASA's Hubble Space Telescope's Wide Field Camera 3 detected an unexpected spectral spike at exactly 314 UTC. The European Space Agency's Gaia spacecraft positioned at a different orbital vantage point, confirmed the exact 470 nanometer emission, and then the Atacama Large Millimeter Array, ALMA, in Chile, cross-referenced these molecular signatures, and they came up with the same result. 3 independent observatories, 3 different methodologies, and yet they all concluded the same thing. This object was emitting cold light, not just reflecting sunlight, but generating light from within. This is where things get fascinating. Normally, we think of light generation as requiring energy, especially in biology. For instance, deep-sea creatures like the anglerfish or certain jellyfish produce light through a chemical reaction involving luciferin and luciferase. When these two substances react with oxygen, photons are emitted. We call this bioluminescence. Essentially, it's like a chemical battery that outputs light without producing heat. But here's the issue. 3I Atlas is a comet. It's a frozen body in space, currently sitting at a temperature of around -210 degrees Celsius. At that temperature, chemistry should be inert, dead, frozen. No chemical reactions should be happening. But there it is, glowing. Then, on the 15th of April, 2026, at precisely 1842, UTC anomaly number 3 was documented. The glow was not continuous, but pulsating. This is an essential detail. The ALMA band 7 receivers detected not just any light, but a very specific kind of emission, complex hydrocarbons and amino acid precursors. These prebiotic molecules were detected in concentrations 10,000 times higher than any comet ever recorded in the history of astronomical observation. Let that sink in, 10,000 times higher. The probability of this happening through random cosmic dust accretion, practically 0.002%. So, once again, we're faced with a statistical improbability of mind-boggling proportions. The conventional explanation could be outgassing, some reflection of sunlight, or something else entirely. But the data from the James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, suggests otherwise. The light is coming from the core of 3I Atlas itself. Imagine the precision required to emit light at exactly 470 nanometers, the same wavelength that travels furthest in water on Earth from an object that's supposed to be made of rock and ice, frozen solid. From Earth's perspective, this is like seeing a rhythmic beacon in the vastness of space. But it doesn't end there. On April 16, anomaly number 4 escalated the situation completely. NASA's Deep Space Network antenna DSS-43 recorded a thermal profile of 3I Atlas. If this emission is indeed a chemical reaction, there should be a byproduct heat. Yet, the core temperature of 3I Atlas remained perfectly stable at -210 degrees Celsius. This should be impossible. Let me put this into perspective for you. Imagine lighting a massive bonfire in Antarctica, and the flames are glowing brightly, visible from miles away, but when you touch them, they're actually freezing cold. That's what we're seeing with our best telescopes, 240 million kilometers away. Then, on April 16, the European Southern Observatory's Very Large Telescope pointed directly at the coordinates of 3I Atlas. They expected the signal to degrade or fluctuate due to interference from solar winds. Instead, the emission remained perfectly coherent, cutting through the background radiation like a laser through fog. This should not be happening. The laws of physics tell us that energy must be conserved and dissipated, but the data we're seeing suggests otherwise. The energy conversion happening within 3I Atlas is near perfect, nearly 100% efficient. This is the kind of theoretical efficiency we only see in advanced metamaterials or quantum biological systems. Even Avi Loeb, an astrophysicist, known for challenging mainstream science, has admitted that this behavior cannot be explained by conventional cometary models. Today, we're tracking over 12 documented anomalies related to 3I Atlas. The data is consistent and unambiguous. We're looking at an object that is fundamentally different from anything we've ever encountered. The emission is sustained, the molecules are present in impossible concentrations, and the thermodynamics don't add up. It's time to take a step back and reassess what we think we know about comets and about space itself. But hold on, because this is only the beginning. The next set of anomalies takes us even deeper into uncharted territory. Stay tuned. Let's now explore the next layer of this unfolding cosmic mystery. On the 17th of April 2026, a seismic shift occurred in the behavior of 3I Atlas, and this is where things get really astonishing. Until this point, we had been watching a comet, if you could even still call it, that emitting cold light, sending pulses of photons, and releasing prebiotic molecules. But that's not all. Now, we have something truly extraordinary. What we saw next was beyond anything even the most seasoned astrophysicists could have predicted. Up until now, the emission was steady, predictable, in a way. But on April 17, exactly at 9:15 UTC, something happened that disrupted the pattern completely. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory detected a sudden and severe alteration in the emission data. For 4 minutes and 20 seconds, there was a complete silence in the signal, absolute stillness in the data. No pulses, no light, just silence. Then, as suddenly as it stopped, the light reignited, but with a difference. The once steady stream of blue-green light was now switching on and off. It was no longer continuous. It became a rhythmic sequence. To make this even more bizarre, the timing of these flashes was not random. The pulses occurred at intervals that were mathematically precise, within 0.03 seconds of each other. Imagine this. You're watching a live feed from the James Webb Space Telescope, and there it is, floating in the void of space, this glowing comet, except it's not glowing continuously. It's pulsing, a burst of light, then a pause, another burst, and so on. Each pulse was synchronized with precision that is almost impossible in the natural world. A pattern was emerging, and it was clear. This wasn't random behavior. This was deliberate, structured, and intentional. At this point, we have to question everything. The conventional explanation, which usually involves a rotating body reflecting sunlight, doesn't hold up. What we're seeing is not simply the reflective behavior of an icy body in space. No, this is something far more deliberate, far more complex. The probability of a comet having the necessary conditions to emit light like this, considerably low. Now add the fact that the light is occurring with such perfect precision within fractions of a second, something that no known natural phenomenon can replicate. The more we dig into the data, the more it suggests that this is no longer just a comet. This is something else. Something alive? Something engineered? Then, on the 18th of April 2026, a new chapter unfolded. Something that further shattered our understanding of what we were dealing with. The data from NASA's Deep Space Network, along with independent verification from ESA and other observatories, revealed another unsettling truth. The periodic flashes from 3I Atlas were now mirroring something we never expected to see. A long-range transmission we had sent into the cosmos over 50 years ago, the Arecibo message. In 1974, humanity sent a binary message into space, a mathematical and visual representation of basic human knowledge. It was a message directed toward potential extraterrestrial intelligence, a simple communication in a language we hoped others would understand. But now, 3I Atlas, this frozen object, emitting pulsating bioluminescence, was sending this exact same message back to us. in perfect binary. The very same graphic and data we sent into the cosmos now played back to us in the chemical language of deep-sea luciferin. This wasn't just a random coincidence. This wasn't a trick of the light or a reflection of cosmic rays. No, this was deliberate. This was a playback of humanity's message encoded and transmitted back to us through an organic, bioluminescent medium. Pause for a moment. Imagine standing on Earth, looking up at the night sky, and seeing a cosmic mirror of your own transmission reflected back to you from the depths of space. Not in a form we expect to see from distant stars, but in a biological language we associate with deep-sea creatures. The very same binary sequence we transmitted is now coming back to us through an alien object in a language we've never encountered before. This changes everything. If this is a natural phenomenon, if this is some kind of cosmic echo, then we have to completely rethink our understanding of light refraction, data preservation in a vacuum, and even the fundamental principles of physics itself. If this is an alien probe, actively listening and decoding our transmissions, then humanity has just stumbled upon the first undeniable proof of non-human intelligence. But the story doesn't end here. What comes next is even more unsettling. As we move forward, we will start to see how 3I Atlas has begun manipulating its own trajectory, changing its path through the cosmos. This is not just an object traveling through space. It is something that is actively controlling its own movement, something we've never seen before in any comet or asteroid. The implications of this are staggering. Stay with me, because the real mystery is just beginning. Now, let's get into what might be the most shocking part of all this, how 3I Atlas is manipulating its own trajectory. Up until this point, we've been tracking strange emissions, impossible thermodynamics, and an unexplainable bioluminescent signal. But the data we've gathered in the last 72 hours suggests something far more complex than we ever imagined. On the 18th of April, 2026, exactly at 2:14 UTC, a specialized team using the Keck Observatory in collaboration with NASA's Deep Space Network recorded something that seemed impossible. The object 3I Atlas began to alter its trajectory. This isn't just a comet or a rock drifting through space. No, this is an object actively changing its path, shifting its course in a way that defies the laws of physics. And this is where we start to cross into the realm of the truly unexplainable. Let's break this down. The data from the Keck Observatory shows that 3I Atlas is not only emitting an anomalous light signal, but it's also performing complex adjustments to its orbital trajectory. Now, in the world of astrophysics, this is a big deal. Normally, we think of comets as simple, predictable objects, icy bodies drifting through space, influenced by gravitational forces. But what we are witnessing with 3I Atlas is not something that can be explained by gravity alone. This object is doing something we've never seen before. The speed at which it's changing direction is far beyond what any comet or asteroid should be able to do. The adjustments are too precise. The amount of energy required to alter an object's trajectory in this way is mind-boggling. Yet, here we are, witnessing this very phenomenon unfold before our eyes. And if this object is indeed manipulating its own trajectory, then we have to ask, how is it doing this? Is it a natural force we've never accounted for, or is there something else at play? If this is indeed some form of intelligent design, then what we are observing is far more than just a cosmic anomaly. This is something that is not only capable of generating light from within, but also of controlling its own movement in space. And that opens up a whole new set of questions. Now let's talk about what happens when an object starts controlling its own trajectory in deep space. As we've seen with 3I Atlas, it doesn't just make random changes, it does so with a level of precision and coordination that is difficult to explain. The kind of accuracy required to make these adjustments suggests that this object isn't acting on random cosmic forces. It's responding to something. But what? The data we're seeing is so precise, so well calculated, that it doesn't feel like a random cosmic event. Instead, it feels like we're looking at something engineered, something with purpose. The fact that this object can manipulate its path and alter its velocity with such accuracy suggests that we may be dealing with something far more advanced than we initially thought. As these observations continue, NASA, ESA, and other space agencies are now in full alert mode. This is not just a routine observation of an interstellar object, this is an unprecedented event, and with every passing hour, the data is becoming even more baffling. The object's trajectory is changing at an accelerating rate, and every attempt to predict its next move is met with more confusion. So, what does this mean for our understanding of space and the laws that govern it? It means that everything we thought we knew about comets, asteroids, and objects traveling through space may need to be re-evaluated. The implications of 3I Atlas actively altering its trajectory are far-reaching. If this object is capable of controlling its movement, who or what is controlling it? This brings us to one of the most profound questions of all. Are we witnessing the actions of an advanced intelligence that operates beyond our understanding of physics? This object, once thought to be just another comet, is now showing signs of intelligent behavior, and that changes everything. But we're not finished yet. What I'm about to reveal next takes us even further down the rabbit hole into uncharted territory. Get ready, because the data I'm about to show you will challenge everything you thought you knew about the universe. As we continue to observe the strange behavior of 3I Atlas, things are taking an even more bizarre turn. So far, we've seen this object emit cold bioluminescent light, alter its trajectory with unnatural precision, and mirror humanity's 1974 Arecibo message back to us in a biological format. But the most unsettling discovery came on the 18th of April, 2026, when something truly unprecedented occurred. 3I Atlas began transmitting a new visual pattern, one that further confirms that we are dealing with an object that is far beyond anything we could have imagined. What was once thought to be a cosmic accident, a strange anomaly, is now becoming a carefully orchestrated sequence. After the Arecibo message was mirrored back to us, the object began transmitting something even more detailed, a complex visual signal, entirely encoded in a biological medium. This is not just a random cosmic echo, this is a deliberate interaction. The object isn't just responding passively to Earth's transmissions, it is actively participating in a form of communication. Now, to put this into perspective, consider this. The binary Arecibo message we sent into space in 1974 was a simple, basic image designed to communicate basic mathematical knowledge. It was a visual representation of human life, our atomic structure, and the fundamental numbers that make up the universe. But now, 3I Atlas is not just receiving our message, it's decoding it, understanding it, and then replaying it back to us, perfectly mirroring the data in its own bioluminescent pulses. This is extraordinary. The visual patterns being sent back to Earth are identical to the binary sequence we first transmitted over 50 years ago. But there's a key difference. 3I Atlas isn't sending a direct digital signal. It's using the chemical properties of bioluminescence, the same mechanism deep-sea creatures use to communicate in the absolute darkness of the ocean. What does this tell us? It suggests that the object is not merely reflecting a transmission, but is actively participating in the communication in a format that's completely alien to us. If this is an alien intelligence, it's using a biological form of communication, not digital or mechanical, but based on the chemical reactions that occur in living organisms. And this brings us to a chilling realization. 3I Atlas may not be just a comet as we originally thought. It's acting like a highly advanced probe, a living entity that is capable of transmitting and receiving data using biological light. This is no longer just a cosmic anomaly, it's a deliberate act of communication, and the implications of this are profound. We are no longer observing a natural phenomenon. We are witnessing the first possible contact with an intelligence far beyond our own. But how far does this go? Is it possible that 3I Atlas is not just transmitting back a message, but actively engaging with us in a dialogue of sorts? The fact that it is using bioluminescence to encode and send information is significant. It's a form of communication we've never encountered before, one that could challenge our very understanding of how intelligence operates across the cosmos. As of now, the global scientific community is in a frenzy. Space agencies around the world are working around the clock to analyze the data. Some of the brightest minds in astrophysics and biology are collaborating, trying to make sense of this unprecedented event. NASA has already upgraded the level of classification for this project, and classified briefings have been held to discuss the next steps. What we are seeing is not just a comet, it's a cosmic enigma that has the potential to reshape our understanding of life and intelligence in the universe. This situation is moving faster than anyone could have predicted, and with each passing day, new and even more bizarre data is emerging. The object's behavior is becoming more deliberate, its transmissions more sophisticated. As we near the critical observational window, we are about to learn much more. But there's a sense of urgency. Every hour brings new data, and with it, more questions that we are nowhere near close to answering. What comes next could change everything. The situation is escalating, and the clock is ticking. Stay tuned, because what we learn next could reveal the true nature of 3I Atlas and its intentions. And as incredible as it sounds, we may be witnessing the first steps toward the first contact with an intelligence that operates on a biological level. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any updates on this groundbreaking discovery. As we continue to track 3I Atlas and uncover its secrets, you'll want to stay informed on every new twist in this cosmic mystery.